All right, 15. I am, then, of opinion, said Crassius, that nature and genius in the first place contribute most aid to speaking, and that those writers on the art to whom Antonius just now alluded, it was not skill and method in speaking, but natural talent that was wanting, for there ought to be certain lively powers in the mind and understanding which may be acute to invent, fertile to explain and adorn, and strong and retentive to remember. And if any one imagines that these powers may be acquired by art, which is false, for it is very well if they can be animated and excited by art, but they certainly cannot by art be engrafted or instilled, since they are all the gifts of nature. What will he say of those qualities which are certainly born with the man himself: volubility of tongue, tone of voice, strength of lungs, and peculiar conformation and aspect of the whole countenance and body? I do not say that art cannot improve in these particulars, for I am not ignorant that what is good may be made better by education, and what is not very good may be in some degree polished and amended. But there are some persons so hesitating in their speech, so inharmonious in their tone or voice, or so unwieldy and rude in their air and movements of their bodies, that whatever power they possess, either from genius or art, they can never be reckoned in the number of accomplished speakers, while there are others so happily qualified in these respects, so eminently adorned with the gifts of nature, that they seem not to have been born like other men. Hold up. But molded by some divinity. It is indeed a great task and enterprise for a person to undertake and profess that while everyone else is silent, he alone must be heard on the most important subjects, and in a large assembly of men, for there is scarcity any one present who is not sharper and quicker to discover defects in the speaker than merits, and thus whatever offends the hearer effaces the recollection of what is worthy of praise. I do not make these observations for the purpose of altogether deterring young men from the study of oratory, even if they be deficient in some natural endowments. For who does not perceive that to see Callias, my contemporary, a new man, the mere mediocrity in speaking which he was enabled to attain was a great honor? Who does not know that Q. Varius, your equal in age, a clumsy, uncouth man, has obtained his great popularity by the cultivation of such faculties as he has? 16. But as our inquiry regards the complete orator, we must imagine in our discussion an orator from whom every kind of fault is abstracted, and who is adorned with every kind of merit. For if the multitude of suits, if the variety of causes, if the rabble of barbarism of the forum afford room for even the most wretched speakers, we must not, for that reason, take our eyes from the object of our inquiry. In those arts in which it is not indispensable usefulness that is sought, but liberal amusement for the mind, how nicely, how almost fastidiously do we judge! For there are no suits or controversies which can force men, though they may tolerate indifferent orators in the forum, to endure also bad actors upon the stage. The orator, therefore, must take the most studious precaution, not merely to satisfy those whom he necessarily must satisfy, but to seem worthy of admiration to those who are at liberty to judge disinterestedly. If you would know what I myself think, I will express to you, my intimate friends, what I have hitherto never mentioned, and thought that I never should mention. To me, those who speak best and speak with the utmost case and grace appear, if they do not commence their speeches with some timidly and show some confusion in the exordium, to have almost lost the sense of shame, though it is impossible that such should not be the case, for the better qualified a man is to speak, the more he fears the difficulties of speaking, the uncertain success of a speech, and the expectation of the audience. But he who can produce and deliver nothing worthy of his subject, nothing worthy of the name of an orator, nothing worthy Nothing worthy the attention of his audience seems to me, though he be ever so confused while he is speaking, to be downright shameless, for we ought to avoid a character for shamelessness, but no, not by testifying shame, but by not doing that which does not become us. But the speaker who has no shame, as I see to be the case with many, I regard as deserving not only of rebuke, but of personal castigation. Indeed, what I often observe in you, I very frequently experience in myself, that I turn pale in the outset of my speech and feel a tremor through my whole thoughts, as it were, and limbs. When I was a young man, I was on one occasion so timid in commencing an accusation that I owed to Q. Maximus the greatest of obligations for immediately dismissing the assembly, as soon as he saw me absolutely disheartened and incapacitated through fear. Here they all signified assent, looked significantly at one another, and began to talk together, for there was a wonderful modesty in Crassus, which, however, was not only no disadvantage to his oratory, but even an assistance to it by giving it the recommendation of probity. Probity? Probity.